sovereignty. JN Bank will help you find a way. Kingston Wharves Click and Collect. Jamaica Customs Agency, Country Above Self, and the BM Group. Transform your everyday.
In tribute to Jamaicans in the diaspora, wherever you go, you shine. You make us proud. Despite our challenges at home, you never give up on us. Our sincere thanks. Wherever you go, shine.
Let's go, studio. It is Saturday, the 17th of June, 2023, and we greet you well, wherever in the world you are listening to us here on the Jamaican Diaspora live online on Power 106 FM. This morning, we are coming to you live from Dutch Pot Jamaican Restaurant here at 7301 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines, Florida. We thank Eddie Edwards, our very good friend and colleague, for his unswerving support for our efforts across the diaspora. And we look forward to perhaps having a word or two with Eddie Edwards before the morning is out on air, that is. And so we look forward to another very well put together program of interviews and discussions with our guests. And we thank you very much for making it the Jamaican Diaspora live online here on Power 106 FM. We're streaming live on the Dervan Malcolm Facebook page. If you're not there yet, log on to Facebook. In the search box, type DERVANMALCOLM. And you too will be able to not just hear, but see what's happening on location right now here on the Jamaican Diaspora live online on Power 106 FM. We want to thank all our sponsors as well. You've been hearing mentions in the continuity which was just played. And at some point, we will speak with one or two of our other sponsors as well. It's been a very hectic week, a very busy week, and we are happy that we've been able to make it thus far, considering the nature and state of the schedule of activities. This has been the week of the Jamaica Diaspora Task Force Action Network Education Task Force Summit. It's an education summit that has pretty much taken up this entire week with teachers from Jamaica, and we also have participation from teachers in the diaspora, Jamaican educators who have been playing their part as well over the years. The partnership of the JD-TAN, Jamaica Diaspora Task Force Action Network Education Task Force, and the Jamaica Teachers Association, very, very much involved. And we also have the input of the Union of Jamaican Alumni Associations, UJA. And I'm getting into trouble now because I'm calling names off the top of my head. Don't want to forget anybody or any entity. JN, major supporters of diaspora activities. VM Group, major supporters of the diaspora. And everybody, all the stakeholders have been on show this week as well. And we thank them. Just yesterday, we observed Diaspora Day, and obviously still young in its observance, but but very promising. And we want to remind our listeners at home and abroad to mark that date on the calendar, the 16th of, uh, of June, as Diaspora Day. And welcome. This looks like the first customer. Yes, indeed. I wish I could give you a prize for being the first customer.
Of course.
All right, we'll see how that goes. We also would like to acknowledge, as usual, the support from the Jamaica's Consulate General based in Miami, Florida. We're grateful for that support as well. And we thank all those who turned out to support the Education Task Force Summit, which ended last night, we could say, with that gala, the first gala in the 8 editions of the Jamaica Diaspora Education Task Force. So this was the first one last night, and it was indeed, as the Jamaican recording says, all-night party, well into this morning as well. And so this morning we have quite a few guests who will be popping in, and interacting with the staff and the customers here at the Dutch Pot. So please go ahead and spread the word that this is where we are on today's edition of the Jamaican Diaspora Live Online here on Power 106 FM, the Dutch Pot Jamaican Restaurant. Well, there are quite a few, so check the address to ensure that you have the right one. This one is at 7301 Pines Boulevard here in Pembroke Pines, Florida. And we're looking forward to that. Yesterday, Diaspora Day, as we said, we spent the day at the VM Group Florida Representative Office at 2600 South University Drive. It's in the Sienna Shops Plaza, number 111 in Miramar, Florida. So that was that has been a highlight of this week so far. Let me see, are we forgetting anything in terms of this week? No, I don't think so. And so that's where we are. Here we are. First one logging on this morning is Gordon A. Charlene saying good morning to Durvan and his listeners from New York City. Welcome, Gordon A. Charlene. Gordon A. Charlene, for being one of the early birds on the Jamaican Diaspora Live Online this morning. Thank you very much for joining us. Let's see if we can give you an idea of what's in the Gleaner today, just so we can help to catch you up on some of these matters. On the front page of today's Gleaner, Wholeness wants international corridor for Haiti. And the story is 2 days after the Haitian stakeholders' security talks ended in Kingston, Prime Minister Andrew Holness has called for a humanitarian corridor to be established in Haiti with support from international partners. Holness believes the establishment of the humanitarian corridor will primarily assist in unblocking the supply chain to facilitate food imports and distribution in Haiti. Holness also said support for the overwhelmed Haitian National Police is urgently required to facilitate the movement of goods into and through the ports to communities. We'll see how that works. But we can't abandon Haiti. We have to do whatever we can to demonstrate our solidarity and confirm our support for our fellow CARICOM countries. The front page as well, the front page of the Gleaner, the headline, Banknote Skepticism, Concerns Raised About Determining Authenticity of New Paper Money. So we'll see how that unfolds. There's a picture of two dancing ladies, young ladies. One of them is Christina Peer, a social studies and history teacher, dancing with one of her students, Tamonia Wright, at Kingston Technical High School during the launch of the Flow Foundation and Kingston Technical High School Safer Internet projects. More Cascas is another story on the front page of today's Gleaner. In spite of PM's intervention, broadside continues against Integrity Commission, despite a seeming gag order imposed by Prime Minister Andrew Holness on government lawmakers to halt the broadside against Jamaica's single anti-corruption body. Abka Fitz-Henley, the freshly minted senator, yesterday took aim at the entity, accusing it of partisan action against the administration. So we waste time at our own peril. A bittersweet relationship between single father and son. That's taking us into this Father's Day weekend. That's one of the stories. Glowing tributes for Dr. Simon Clark at Candlelight Vigil. Mobe Jerkfest 2023 launched in soul-stirring style. I wonder if Eddie Edwards has anything to do with this one. Apparently not. Come and give us a word, please, Mr. Edwards. But it seems, I mean, everybody all over the world, at home and abroad, because jerk is so popular and a staple, in a manner of speaking, in our diet when it comes on to food. We end up with a lot of these festivals. Well, first of all, morning, Eddie Edwards. How are you?
I am well. Good morning. Welcome to South Florida. Welcome to the Dutch Pot. How are you doing?
I am fine. Thank you so much for your support, as usual. And want to find out from you now, in terms of the jerk festivals that you have been associated with over the years, and we know the impact of COVID a couple of years ago. What's the plan going forward?
Well, our plan right now, last year we celebrated our 20th anniversary here in South Florida and our 10th in New York.
Mm-hmm.
And for 2023, we are taking a hiatus from New York, which would normally be in July in the summer. And so we're focusing on rebranding, remaking the product, and coming with something fresh, something new for Florida. And whatever that looks like when we have done making all the adjustments, we'll take that model and then roll it out in New York for 2024. Like anything else, after a couple of years, after 20 years, we think it's time to just refresh the brand, reconcept it, repackage it. And that's just taking some really internal looks, as well as hearing from our
stakeholders,
yes. So that's a process we're going through right now, but we look forward. We have some exciting ideas, and we look forward to would connect with the audience as well as our sponsors.
Okay, we definitely look forward to that. Hold it right there. Let's take this break and come back with more in just a moment.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
6:15 in the morning back home in Kingston, Jamaica, which means it's 7:15 a.m. here in Pembroke Pines, Florida.
Both sides of a story.
Do you have a title for your land? Are you thinking about buying or selling land? How much is your property
We have
worth? Tune
other
into
guests
both sides of the
scheduled, or
story with
Yeah,
Durban Malcolm on Power 106 FM every last Tuesday at
thank you,
3:30
sir.
p.m. for the NLA and
thank
You,
you.
a program that examines the National Land Agency's role in building an efficient
that's
and
fine with me.
transparent land titling system
Thank
for
you.
Jamaicans. That's the
Yeah.
NLA and You on
Thanks.
both sides of the story with
Yeah,
Durban Malcolm every
Sharon
last
Winter.
Tuesday at
Okay,
3:30
she's
p.m.
coming.
She's.
The National Land
I'm not
Agency,
sure if she'll
one
be here,
agency,
but
one goal, committed to
she
serve you
said there are
better.
a couple of people she wanted to talk to.
Okay. All right.
So
This special edition of the
I don't
Jamaican
have
Diaspora
everything.
Live Online, live from the Dutch Pot Jamaican
I'm
Restaurant,
playing it by ear
7301
and
Pines Boulevard,
improvising.
Pembroke Pines,
Okay.
Florida, is brought to you
You
by
wanna have a word
J&N
with
Logistics
if
and
any of
Marine
the
Services.
Sure.
In tribute to Jamaicans in diaspora, wherever you go, you shine. You make us proud. Despite our challenges at home, you never give up on us. Our sincere thanks. Wherever you go, shine.
So the early slots are usually not that easy to fill.
Need to know,
But
shine.
usually works out anyway.
Anything you want to be. You give me hope. Shine. Oh, shine.
What Lavendier's position these days?
That's a good question, and I may have a response. I know she works with the human trafficking and all that something she does. But I can't tell you specifically. Yeah, man, no worries.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for staying with us here on the Jamaican Diaspora Live Online on Power 106 FM. I'm Dervan Malcolm, and we have a couple of early birds, as we've said. Gordon A. Charlene saying good morning to Dervan and his listeners from New York City. John Perry says, good morning, Sir Malcolm. Big ups to those here in Central Florida, Palm Bay, who continue to send barrels, funding, and encouragement back home to Jamaica. We thank you. We thank you very much for your message, John Perry. Good to have you on board. And over on YouTube, Joan Lockett says, good morning, Mr. Malcolm, from, what's that? I-75 on the way to Fort Myers in Florida. Well, please be safe and all the best. Thank you for checking in. Karen Rose says, top of the morning to you, Sir D, and to all tuning in. How was the JD Tan Gala last night? It was a riot in a good way. I pray you had a wonderful time, says Karen Rose. Yes, indeed. Thank you very much for asking. And all the very best. Yes, so Eddie Edwards, in terms of happenings here, because you pay attention to a lot of the events, activities, ceremonies, concerts, the whole works. What's the scene like here in South Florida these days? Still as busy as ever with events and activities?
Quite vibrant. June, being Caribbean American Heritage Month, and pretty much just about every day. The weekend is packed. All kinds of activities. Observing. I mean, you just saw the gala last night. The teachers being here. There's Sharks Hopes having their gala tonight. We have Taste of the Caribbean Islands, which is celebrating and culminating Caribbean American Heritage Month. That is happening on the 24th. Also, we have the Anansi Festival over there at the museum, right? Island Space. I'm sure you've been there. Have you been to Island Space?
I'm embarrassed, not yet. And I've long gotten the invitation from, what's her name, young lady? Yes.
Kelly Thompson,
Yes.
right? One of the co-founders. I urge you to stop by, even for the briefest of moment. The good thing is it's pretty close to where you are, stay
Okay.
in your hotel. But yes, please, just even if you need to just see the space for 10 minutes, stop by. It is the only one of its kind. It's a full Caribbean museum.
Mhm.
Fairly new, but I tell you, I'm impressed with where they are now, and I'm fully supportive of all the efforts for to house our Caribbean heritage artifacts and tell our story
Mhm.
here in the States. So I am very proud of that, and they're doing a lot as well,
Mhm.
in our community. So there are just a lot of different things happening here.
Mhm.
That various cities are celebrating Caribbean American Heritage Month. Juneteenth, again,
Yeah,
some
yeah, that's a holiday coming up on Monday.
it has recently been mandated as a federal holiday, so now there are
Mm.
lots of celebrations, lots of offices, and people are off work from Monday. So again, celebration. So technically, this is a long holiday weekend, you know. Um, but there are a lot of things happening. We have a vibrant Caribbean and a Jamaican community here in South Florida, and of course, various pockets in the states.
Mhm.
So we're happy to have you here, and share the word with your listeners.
Yes, happy to be here, and we thank the team at this particular location of the Dutch Pot, which serves us and serves up some sumptuous meals, not just at this location, but I'm sure at all the other locations in Florida. And that's another thing because food is so important to all of us, but not least of all as Jamaicans. We love our food. And because of that, we have a situation where there's so many Jamaican restaurants popping up and still popping up all over. And that explains the uh, a lot of the development that takes place within the community. I mean, those who have, who invest in these restaurants, and they continue to stand the test of time. That is encouraging because that's
Several locations, and they're very, very successful. They have the drive-through. They're one of the first here to have a drive-through location. They've had several, and I mean, there's some days here when the lines are long. This was started by two sisters that have done so well. And they also do a lot of outreach in the community. So again, food as part of our culture. We take it with us. The good thing about it also is there are so many other um, communities, the greater community that's being now attracted to the food.
right.
So it's not just the restaurants are not just supported by Jamaicans or Caribbean. It is now the general market. African Americans are into our food. They'll drink cola, champagne, they'll eat oxtail, curry chicken, that kind of a thing. Some of them have problems with the curry goat. I say, you eat goat, But at the same time, the culture is spreading between the food and the music.
In terms of the the general, I mean, I don't know how much you pay attention to and I think you do, to the politics, and I'm always amazed at the interest that Jamaicans have taken, because we normally curse politicians, not just in Jamaica but elsewhere. But to see so many Jamaicans in leadership positions, in public service positions, in political positions, are you ever surprised by that, or not?
Well, if you really go back to the history of this country, from Alexander Hamilton, Caribbean folk in general,
Mhm.
Marcus Garvey, the impact he had And then when you look at the civil rights movement, where you had people like Kwame Ture, I forgot his first name, I know him as Kwame Ture, he's from Trinidad, and all the other folks, Sidney Poitier, they weren't in politics, but they were very supportive of the civil rights movement. And so it is pretty much now an extension because Jamaicans are leaders, Caribbean folks really based on our upbringing. And so it's pretty much something that I say is a natural for us to participate because wherever we are, we're going to be the loud ones. We're going to be the ones that will say, listen, this is not right. We will stand up for equality and justice. And so you will find that in representation of politics, first at the city level, you will find now, especially when we have the population to support. You have a city like Miramar that has a strong Caribbean and Jamaican residents, and so you find out that
It's 6:30 in the morning back home in Kingston, Jamaica, which means it's 7:30 a.m.
Here, it's there, it's everywhere. It's onespotmedia.com. Watch your favorite local program or listen to your favorite radio station from anywhere in the world on your tablet, smartphone, or personal computer. Download the app now and keep up to date with your favorite local programs on DJ. Check us out at onespotmedia.com. Follow us on Instagram, facebook.com/onespotmedia, and subscribe now. onespotmedia.com.
This special edition of the Jamaican Diaspora Live Online, live from the Dutch Pot Jamaican Restaurant, 7301 Pines Boulevard, Pembroke Pines, Florida, is brought to you by JN Logistics and Marine Services, Passport Immigration and Citizenship Agency PICA, safeguarding our borders, safeguarding our sovereignty. JN Bank will help you find a way. Kingston Wharves, Click and Collect, Jamaica Customs Agency, Country Above Self, and the BM Group. Transform your everyday.
with construction.
Tell us as we go back. Let's go studio. Thanks a lot for staying with us here on the Jamaican Diaspora Live Online on Power 106 FM. I'm Dervan Malcolm. We're delighted to be spending a little time here with Eddie Edwards, who is, he wears quite a few hats, of course. He's the CEO of Jamaican Jerk USA Inc. He has his own communications firm, which is
Rhythms Marketing.
Rhythms Marketing. Which other one?
That's it.
That's it. But anyway, to get back.
So these are ways that our communities empowered. On the cultural side, various cities can present cultural presentations and showcase at a cost that, again, the regular person and the promoter has a little challenge to do sometimes. So, making things